Welcome to the channel. If you are new here and you enjoyed the content, hit that subscribe button. And if you are a subscriber, boys, welcome back. Welcome then to our rebuild here with Ineos Grenadiers. And here we are on the main screen on our manager page. So we go into our email here. We would like to welcome you to our team. Our sponsors have invested a substantial amount of money to be part of Cycling's elite. They are expecting results from you during the World Tour races, the competition that brings together the 18 best teams across the whole season. Good luck. Looking at our squad then that we've inherited at the start of this Ineos rebuild, some of the usual suspects as you would expect. We've got Geraint Thomas here, the wily old veteran that's going to be leading our main sort of Grand Tour charges. We've got Egan Bernal to assist in that. We've got a couple of young names like Magnus Sheffield, Andrew August, and a few other exciting names throughout the team. Of course, we've got Filippo Ganna as well, the Italian time trialist and sprinter, who's going to give us some good options in those style of events and races. So that is exciting to have. But I think going forward, probably the main thing that we're going to be looking at is bringing a kind of very British, or if not a very kind of English-speaking team together. If we think about the English people that we have here, I think last year IRL 2024, I think there was only Geraint Thomas and Thomas Pidcock within the top 100 races in the world that were British. And of course, Pidcock has now moved on to Q3. To the Q team. So yeah, we've already got him, and then I think there was only like Joshua Tarling and I think one other rider within the top 100 to 200 positions as well. So that's very much going to be something we're going to look to do, to bring in those riders. And as I mentioned, we've got Magnus Sheffield and Andrew August as well, some Americans. So maybe we'll bring in some English speaking riders from maybe America, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, that sort of thing, to kind of be realistic in terms of communication throughout the team. And yeah, we'll see how we do with that. We move across into the planner then, and we've been going through this quite heavily already, putting in place our plans for the season. Of course, we scroll through to the Giro. We've got Carlos Rodriguez heading things up there with Egan Bernal, so quite a strong team. And then as we move through to the Tour de France, of course, as you'd expect, Geraint Thomas is going to head things up there, and we're going to offer as much support as we can. And then Geraint Thomas is going to do the double tour of duty, following up with La Vuelta. You can see here at the end of July, early August, he goes into that kind of rest period. And then there's a couple of weeks, but it is saying that hopefully he's going to hit fitness peak at that La Vuelta stage. So yeah, very much a promising season, but it's going to be a tough one. Of course, we're competing with the big teams, and we are still lacking in quality. Throughout the sort of lower half of the team, we are going to need to invest as these next kind of 5 seasons are all through. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. We move over to the staff then. We had already started with Roger Hammond, but we have brought in Steve Cummings and Maximilian Scandri to bring in both a modern and groundbreaking trainer. And Scandri as well is also doing double duty as a scout for our team to cover the British Isles. And then we have Matt Brown as our doctor for the team. We've already gone ahead and set up a training camp in Lucca, so that's why this option is showing as a Prato here, because Lucca is going to be a 3-day training camp at the beginning of January for us there. And then as we go back over to the squad as well, just a note that we've already gone through the fitness options here. Everyone's set to normal on pre-season, just to make sure we don't push anyone too hard and we stay about as healthy as we can going into the kind of first quarter of the season. And then likewise, we've gone through the trainers here. We are going to be losing a little bit of money, I think, in this first season as we get ourselves sorted, and then probably from season 2 we'll start getting some money back. So at the moment we just have those 3 main trainers, so we are going to suffer, I think, a little bit in relations as the weeks and months go through. But once we get a bit of more money in the coming seasons, then of course we'll address that and start to pick up a few more trainers for our team. Facilities wise, again, because again, season 1, I think we're going to be losing quite a bit of money. We haven't done anything here But again, I think from season 2 onwards, that's when we'll start to invest a bit of money into, you know, some of the things, especially the team materials regarding, you know, chain processing, ceramic variants and that sort of thing. And then just before we head into the season in just a moment, I think in terms of the team, obviously we had the Movistar rebuild that we've just finished, and that was a very, very sort of mounting GC heavy team. I think in terms of some of the riders that we've got here, I mean, we look through the squad, we've got good guys in the mountains, obviously Geraint Thomas, Carlos Rodriguez, etc. But then we've got like Ben Turner, Magnus Sheffield, Castroviejo, Samuel Watson. They're good guys that are good on the cobblestones, they're good on the flats, they're good in the time trials. So I think a much more varied team this time around is to what we're going to expect. We're probably going to have maybe 8 to 12 guys that are really sort of mountain guys, and then the rest of the team are going to be kind of spread out between time trialists and flat racers, a bit more in the mix than we were with the Movistar squad. One thing we should look at before we head into the season is our rider to watch here in season 1, and I think we have to go with the legendary Geraint Thomas. Some of those career highlights you can see, of course, that Tour de France win that he had, as well as taking a Paris-Nice, a Dauphiné, a Tour de Romandie and a Tour of the Alps, amongst of course many other fine stage wins and victories throughout his career. So going into season 1, Geraint Thomas has to be, I believe, our rider to watch. So let's get into it then, guys. Let's start pacing through this first season, and again, likewise with the Movistar rebuild, we'll stop off at some of the key points throughout the season, and then of course we'll look to do a recap at the end of the year to see how successful, if at all, that we've been throughout this year. But let's get into this pre-season training camp, and then onwards towards some actual events, and fingers crossed we can bring Ineos back to the top of the cycling world. Okay, so we're just in the 2nd of March here in the first season on this Ineos rebuild. Been keeping an eye on the money just for that first couple of months, just to see if we're kind of getting into a plus-minus situation. Not too bad. We've moved back up to 1.1 million, so we're kind of holding steady at the moment, a bit of money coming in. So it seems like we're operating at a sort of plus cost. That might put us in a position to get an extra trainer or two. And the reason I'm saying that is because already we've got a couple of guys. We can see Carlos Rodriguez just starting to sour a little bit in relations to Sciandri after this first kind of 2 or 3 months of the season, and then more so looking down Kim Hajduk as well as Lucas Hamilton starting to suffer a bit in their relation. So just in the time being, we can move Hajduk possibly over to Steve Cummings. And likewise, Steve Cummings' relationship with Lucas Hamilton, we can probably just do the reverse and move him across to Sciandri there. Other than that, I need to get back into organising a couple of axis of training situations for some of our guys. I'm going to put stage races on Carlos Rodriguez because I really feel, you know, he's 24 years of age, and even IRL as well as in game, very much a rider that's very competent, I think, of going on to win in some Grand Tours in the future. Likewise, Geraint Thomas on a puncher there. It doesn't really need to be. I'm going to put him on stage races as well. Of course, he's very competent there already, but that's definitely not going to hurt. I think Magnus Sheffield could probably benefit though from moving across to puncher, because he is good with hills and already very decent in time trial and flats. So I'll leave him on that for a little while, but we'll revisit that sort of in the future. Egan Bernal stage races, that's fine. Ben Turner stage races, but again, I think that can be, we can more put him on Northern Classics racing, because that's very sort of in a competent area of where he's very good. Otherwise, apart from that, Andrew August, I think we could put towards climber. I don't think there was anyone else really that we needed to look towards pushing too much at the moment. So we'll keep going through a couple of sort of fitness issues for a couple of guys, but nothing too bad. Oscar Rodriguez there, sort of minor mine. I think I was thinking of when Geraint Thomas got injured. Actually, Oscar Rodriguez has a fractured coccyx. Yeah, that's not too comfortable, to say the least. But let's keep pushing through this season and see how we do. Okay, so we're just dropping into mid-April here. I thought we'd stop by and just see how any of the scouting is going with Max Sciandri. A couple of guys that he's picked up here so far: Joel Ferguson, Matthew Peace, not looking too bad, 17 and 18 years of age respectively. Ferguson looking to be very much good on the flats and sprinting. Maybe kind of a Barrador type guy and not too bad with the cobblestones as well. Pretty okay, but obviously there's a growth needed there. Matthew Peace looking to be someone who's much more of a climber, and a couple of unknown stats here. So I am going to jump onto those to make a observation so that they're watched as a priority by the scout, and we'll see if they develop into anything of interest that we might want to sign directly to the first team. Over in the under 23s as well, just quickly stop by there as well just to see if there's anything that we should be keeping an eye on. Ben Felix Joachim, the German, looking pretty good at 4.5 star potential, and likewise Theodore Storm, the Dane, also 4.5 star potential. A couple of good guys to keep an eye on that we might indeed want to contract to that first team in the coming months. But yeah, definitely some points of interest for us to keep an eye on. Okay, we're into pre-transfer period time here, though, on the 1st of May. Right hand side, you can see the 4 main guys that are out of contract end of this season. Our main leader, Geraint Thomas, being the name to look out for. There's also Kwiatkowski, Castroviejo and Brandon Rivera also out of contract. And there's also a couple of other guys as well, a couple of fringe riders that are also retiring at the end of the season. So we're needing to make inroads into replacing these guys. I think Geraint Thomas will be one that we do resign, carry him over for maybe an extra 1 year until he's kind of 39 years of age in his kind of transfer period, as we transfer from the team that we are now to where we want to be in the future, not just in this transfer window. On the left hand side, you can see the short list of guys, and it's a very common theme as we spoke of earlier in the video, really looking at kind of the Western speaking guys. We've got some UK guys here, being a UK team of course, a couple of young American exciting riders, and then we've got a couple of Irish guys here. So we've got Eddie Denbar and Archie Ryan, both looking to be brought on. The main guy here, Adam Yates, really could be our main guy going forward in replace of Geraint Thomas, but also very much a super domestique to support him in the time being. And as well as Lewis Askey, Fred Wright, Ben Tullett, and Thomas Gloag, and then the Americans that we spoke of, Matthew Riccitello, Luke Lamperti, and a KV that we've got there as well. So this is really the short list. I think this list is very exciting. Some very good young riders that we can nurture and kind of in this next phase of Ineos Grenadiers, as we bring in some exciting talent and they can match the likes of, Andrew August and Magnus Sheffield that we have now, Joshua Tarling, all those kind of guys really would give us a young, exciting team as we progress over these next kind of 5 seasons. So that's where we sit, guys. Obviously, when we do reach the 1st of August, we'll start looking at doing some negotiations for these guys. A few of them already at 100%, and we're not too far away with the others. So a very good chance of bringing in who we want. Okay, so we're at the 1st of August, and that means the transfer market is officially open. But before we dive into there, quick update on the rankings in Season 1 here with this Ineos Grenadiers rebuild. Taking a look at the individual rankings, left side, who else but Tadej Pogačar leads the way. Roglic is up to 2nd with Remco dropping a place. Jonas Vingegaard sits in 4th. 4 places up for Jonathan Milan, now in 5th. Biniam Girmay was up there at 5th, and then he's dropped 3 places. And then you've got Lennart van Etvelt up at 10th, moving up 9 places. We take a look down low, and Geraint Thomas for our team, Ineos, our most highly ranked rider individually, up 140 places. And you might ask, why 140? Well, we'll get back to that at the end of the season when we do a recap of how well we've done this season. But he did have a very surprising result. I will let you know that at least. Team rankings, then UAE sitting on top, of course, very much in part to Pogacar's exploits. Little Trek and Red Bull Boda change places, with Little Trek now in second. We are sat in seventh with just over 10,000 points, which isn't the worst thing this year. You can see there, we have amassed a number of points. Geraint Thomas, just over 2,000 points, our main guy so far. We move then into the transfer page, and as I say, if you were watching earlier in the episode, you can see the short list of guys that we've put together here. A real mix of kind of Western speaking guys. Obviously we're an English team, so we want kind of English speaking guys, keep that kind of communication flow between the team as easy as possible. We've got some British guys here, a couple of Irish guys in Eddie Dunbar and Archie Ryan, and then a couple of American guys here as well. But let's dive into those. Let's take a look at Adam Yates first, who's on 124,000 euros at the moment with UAE. We are going to have to give him a pretty decent sized contract if we want to bring him over, and he is going to very much hopefully play a part in what we want to achieve next season. He's looking at 1 year. I'm going to bump that up to 2, and because of his age, I think this kind of salary starting point at 87 is a sort of a reason towards that. But I'm still going to go up to, say, 100 and see where that puts us. And that's actually good enough straight off the bat. He wants important rider. He did want 1 year. We're going to sign him for 2, and it's going to be 100 grand a month, 100 grand euros a month, that is. So that is going to be Adam Yates on our team at Ineos next year. Let's move over then to our current team leader, Geraint Thomas. And as I said, currently at the moment 39 years of age. Of course, we're in a very transitional period as we look to bring in a number of young guys. I do want to just give him that 1 year, and I think at the end of next year when he kind of fades off, that's going to be a kind of a sayonara farewell for him. Let's see if he'll take that 1 year at a reduced 80,000. He does. He's currently on 105. So he's going to save us about 20,000 euros a month, and he is just going to sign for 1 more year. So congratulations to Geraint Thomas on the new contract. You will be riding with Ineos in 2026. Now we can start looking at some of the other guys we got on the shortlist. We've got Matthew Riccitello here, and the 23-year-old American, only on 22,000 a month. I think he's going to want possibly somewhat more than that, maybe double. Let's jump in here. No, like the starting salary is still only 17,200. He's saying that he wants teammate role. He wants to move up one, so he probably wants to be luxury, but I don't think he's quite there yet. Still only 23, so I'm going to ask for him to sign for 3 years. And what was he on there? Let's just remind ourselves, 22. So let's bump up that payday. Let's go to 25 just to start and see where that goes. And that's actually good enough. So 3 years, Matthew Riccitello, the American, joins us, and he gets a bit of a bumper payday as well. Now, Eddie Dunbar, 26,000 euros a month for the Irishman. 28 years of age. I'm going to give him to take him up to sort of 30 years of age. And let's just remind ourselves again, 26,000 euros a month. I'm going to go to 25 because, again, he's approaching that 30-year-old mark. I think that's going to be good. And it is. I don't think he's really going to complain. Team Jayco, and then you're moving across to a very prominent team that has a lot of eyeballs on them in Ineos, given their history. And of course we want Eddie to be part of bringing back some glory to this team. We move on to the 24-year-old Lewis Askey, 10,500 euros a month at the moment for the young Brit. He wants luxury teammate. Let's try and reduce the teammate, but give him a 3-year contract and then put this up to 25. I think that will sway him. Just give him that extra 5,000 euros. Oh, and he's not far off at all. I've still got 2 shots of this. Let's go to 30 and then hope that just pushes it over the line. No, he does want that luxury teammate, doesn't he? So let's go luxury teammate. And I can't bring that back down now. So let's go. Yeah, it's enough. We did have to go luxury teammate. And it's 30,000 euros a month for Lewis Askey. Now, Luke Lamperti, the 22-year-old American here, 10,500 euros a month. Luxury teammate. They're all wanting that luxury teammate, aren't they? Let's try to reduce the teammate again. And then let's go 25 and see if that hits the sweet spot. No, it's that kind of same situation again, isn't it? There we go. So this time we saved that 5,000 euros that we gave to Aski, but we do give Lamperti luxury teammate as he wanted. But I think he's going to run at some good stats already in hill sprints, resistance at 76. I think he's only going to improve. Another American here, 24-year-old KV, currently riding at Team Picnic Post-Anel. 20,000 euros a month. Is he going to be another one that wants luxury? No, he's only asking for teammates. We might get away with that. 24 years of age. Let's go the full 3. I think he's going to be worth it in the long run. And let's just try 20,000. And that's actually good enough. I thought we might just have to bump that to say like 25 because we had 2 on yellow here. But he actually accepts that. And again, I mean, we've got another rider coming on. 75 mounted, 75 medium, 76 hills, good stamina, good resistance, 75 Barrador. Welcome to the team for next season, KV. Fred Wright then, 26-year-old Bahrain victorious rider, and again another rider here, great in the hills, cobblestones, time trials, flat, stamina, resistance. A lot to be excited about with this rider. Let's have a look here. 19,000 euros a month. We still got a bunch of transfer points to play with here, so we're not worried about that. Again, I'm going to go the full 3 years. Let's go 20,000. I think this is going to be good, and it is good. Absolutely bing bong fantastic. Fred Wright will join us from Bahrain victorious over at Ineos next year. Archie Ryan then, 23-year-old Irishman, currently riding for EF Education Easy Post. Let's bring him a bit closer to home here. Again, look at this, exciting. 74 mounted, 76 in the mediums and hills. Good stamina, good resistance, good acceleration, good Barrador. Very much an exciting rider to potentially bring on board. 17,000 euros a month at the moment. Just wants teammate. Again, he's only 23. Let's give him 3 years and 20. This is going to be, I think, good enough. It is. Ben Tullett then, currently running for Team Visma. I mean, if I can take away a talent from one of the big guns and kind of improve my own squad, all the better. Again, good mountains and very exceptional mediums and hills, time trials, resistance, acceleration, downhill. Again, just a lot to be excited about with Ben Tullett here. 18,000 euros a month. Well within doable range, and once again 23 years of age. I'm happy to go the full 3 and I'm not going to complain, and I'm sure if I put this on 20 we're going to have a good shot here, and we do. Really, there's just no trouble in signing these riders. We've got the money, you know, we're at 1.6, we're just shy of 1.7 million euros at the moment. But welcome to the team for 2026, Ben Tullett from Team Visma. And the last one that we're targeting at the moment is another Team Visma Lease bike rider, and it's Thomas Gloag. I mean, look at the potential this guy has. Potential 5.5 stars in stage races and climber, 5 in punch air. Already 76 in the mountains, 75 in medium, 74 in hills. Good stats elsewhere in stamina, resistance, acceleration, and he's only 23 years of age. 11,500 euros. Absolutely no problem for me to give him the 3 years. And again, I'm just going to bump this up. Should we just try 15 at the moment, see where that goes? Yeah, he's going to take that. When you're 23 years of age and someone's going to throw 15,500 euros at you a month to ride a bike, you're not going to turn it down. So let's go through these confirmations then. Adam Yates, yes. Geraint Thomas, Ricky Tello, Dunbar, Aski, Lamperti, KV, Fred Wright, Archie Ryan, Ben Tullett and Thomas Gloag, the last one here, all going to be signing on for next season here at Ineos. Okay, so we're just going to head over to the preview here now that we've made those confirmations of signings. This is our kind of preview of what the 2026 squad's going to look like if we keep everyone that we've got. Philippe Garner there is still going to be, you know, our main man in terms of, you know, doing the flats and the time trials. Carlos Rodriguez is going to be on 107,000. He's really going to have to step up now as Geraint Thomas obviously gets a bit older, but he's going to be provided some good support come next year with Adam Yates joining. Obviously already in his 30s at the moment, but I've got no problem bringing him in. And then we've got Josh Ratarling, And then as we look down here now, exciting talents: Magnus Sheffield, Ben Turner, Ricky Tello, Lewis Askey, Luke Lamperti, KV, Fred Wright, Archie Ryan. This is really beefing up our squad for next year, and very much happy with that. And if I look to next year, I mean, yeah, there are going to be some names next year that we're going to have to re-sign. Obviously, Geraint Thomas just re-signed for 1 year, so that might be his last season with us. But there's definitely some names: Andrew August, and a few other guys here that we're going to have to keep an eye out for next year. But otherwise, exciting times and some really, really good riders joining Ineos for this rebuild next year. Again, we've reached that point as well where we need to re-sign our equipment suppliers, and I think, you know, Pinarello with Ineos just works, doesn't it? So we're going to re-sign them with a frame contract through to 2026. Shimano Wheels also likely just to re-sign here for the 1 year, and then Shimano gear set as well. Also, we're just going to renew there. So it's going to update our equipment supplies through into next season. Okay, about the 20th of October then, guys, and all the racing for this season is said and done for Ineos Grenadiers. Let's head over to the highlights. We start at the other classics. Nothing to speak of here for Ineos, unfortunately, but I'll just keep the screen up here for a few seconds so you can see exactly who's been doing the damage. Of course, one of the main ones is going to be Tadej, taking 3 of these. Jasper Philipsen there as well with the Bremer. Timo Kedic with E3, bit surprising, and also Sandy Dujardin winning Ghent, probably another surprise, as well as Clement Berthet, if I'm saying that right, apologies. Je suis désolé for Decathlon Ajaduer at the Bretagne Classic. But we move over to the monuments, and a big surprise, albeit a very happy one. We did not win a monument in our Movistar rebuild. If you've been watching those, if you haven't, go back and watch those. Obviously, I've spoiled the monuments section, but some very good other action. But here in season 1 at Ineos, the 23-year-old Magnus Sheffield, the American rider for Ineos Grenadiers, has taken the Ronde. Absolutely fantastic. He's rode 11 monuments prior to that, but here it is, 12th monument. He takes the victory. Also surprising as well, not surprising, but I should say exciting, is that Liège-Bastogne-Liège, KV here, Big Kev, taking the victory, and he's going to be joining us next season. So 1 monument winner this season, and nice to see that another winner is joining us next season. So all good stuff. We move into the national championships, and we did have a little bit extra to smile about here as well. Simon Arensman for Ineos winning for the Netherlands. Of course, you know, not winning directly for Ineos, but always nice to see one of the boys doing well there. We move into the championships for the Worlds and the Euros then. Unfortunately, nothing to speak of in terms of overall victory. Philippe Garner, who we had high hopes for, did take 3rd place over here, as you can see on the right side, finishing up behind Mads Pedersen, who in turn was behind the winner Remco. Ben Healy takes the European road race, Roglic takes the World's time trial, and Tadej, of course, with another victory, taking the World road race. Into the other major tours then, and unfortunately nothing to speak of here highly for the Ineos riders. Some good performances in general that I'd sort of seen, but nothing too much to speak about. Again, kind of the typical names. Remco doing some damage with but 3 of the titles here. Jonas Vingegaard also taking a couple. And nice to see Isaac Del Toro, the youngster, as well, taking double honours with the Santos Tour Down Under and the Adriatico as well. And then over to the big 3 then, and immediately our eyes draw to the centre screen. We spoke earlier in the season as to why Geraint Thomas had moved up 140 places to something like 20-something in the individual rankings, and that was right off the back of this 3rd place finish at the Tour de France. I think if you would have said to Geraint Thomas IRL, you're going to finish 3rd behind Jonas Vingegaard and Tadej Pogačar at this year's Tour de France, would you accept that? And I think he probably would. Just fantastic, absolutely brilliant to finish 3rd and on the podium. Elsewhere, Well, actually, just going back to the Tour, Tadej takes the win, and he actually took a Lava Vuelta as well for an absolutely fine double. Roglic winning the Giro, but also in the Giro, Carlos Rodriguez not getting a victory at all for us this season, but he does take the under 25 white jersey classification at the Giro, so somewhat of a bonus, but I would have rather he had taken some wins this year. And following on speaking about Carlos Rodriguez, let's have a look at the team then. There were individual wins for Tobias Foss, Axel Lawrence, Bob Jungels, Connor Swift, Laurent Depleur, Timon Arizman, Egan Bernal, who took a stage win in this year's Lava Vuelta, which was his best performance. So great to see him taking a stage win in one of the big three, really sort of putting the team in front of the cameras and the sponsors, which is what we really need. Josh Retarling taking a victory, the 21-year-old, really going to be a big rider for us in the coming seasons, and that's exciting to see. Geraint Thomas then winning 2. Let's just go and take a look at Geraint for a second. There was the Great Britain National Championships ITT. There was the first place. And notably as well in Lava Vuelta, there was the, is it the Team Time Trial? I think it is, Stage 1 Barcelona. But aside from that, there was a second place up the Col de Tourmalet, which was very good. And then in Stage 17 from Libat de Sela, there was another victory. So again, winning some stages in one of the big three tours, really the highlights of our season here. And then actually in Stage 18, Geraint Thomas getting that DNF, did not finish the Lava Vuelta, but nonetheless still great to see a stage win. And then Magnus Sheffield was our best performer this season. Started off not too bad, 5th in the Cadel Evans road race, 6th in the Etoile de Bessèges, 2nd in the Trofeo Laigué Eglia, if I'm saying that somewhat right. And then he tailed off a bit, but then of course bouncing back in April to win that monument at the Ronde. Absolutely fantastic. And then in late April and then into May, getting a nice couple of wins at the National Championships for America ITT and the National Road Championships. To put in somewhat of a decent season, and now with a world ranking you can see here on the right side of 31st, and up in the top right you can see confirmation that was his 12th monument as we thought, and it's his first win. So hats off to Magnus Sheffield for a decent season for someone who's still only 23 years of age. Very exciting to move forward with him over these next few coming seasons. 31st of December then, guys, and season 1 here of the Ineos rebuild is done and dusted. Not too bad, a few wins on the board, a little bit of a surprise, but a welcome surprise with that Geraint Thomas 3rd place finish in the Tour de France. Love to see it, and very exciting going forward with some of these young riders that we've got and some new additions coming in season 2 like Adam Yates and a few of the other guys as well. Let's finish up then, guys, by confirming our rider of the season. Our rider to watch, of course, was Geraint Thomas, but we ended up with the rider of the season as Magnus Sheffield, the young American, of course, taking that monument win at the Ronde, and then, of course, with a few other victories, including the USA National ATT and the National Road Race. Fantastic season from the young man. So with that monument win, Magnus Sheffield is our rider of season 1. That's going to be it for this one then, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching, and also for the views on the previous Movistar rebuild. Really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that groovy stuff, and I will see you in season 2 on this Ineos Grenadiers rebuild. Get out of here.